Daniel Hayes stood silently in front of his wife's grave as the cold November wind brushed against his face, and 3 small hands clutched tightly to the sides of his coat, as if letting go might make him disappear too. It had been 6 years since Isabella died, and now the triplets were 6 years old. Mia, Elena, and Sophie stood beside him, their eyes fixed on the headstone until Mia's tiny fingers began to move in sign language, asking why their mother had left them. Daniel's throat tightened as he responded that she hadn't left. Her heart had stopped when they were born. Before the moment could settle, Sophie tugged gently at his sleeve and signed that someone was standing nearby. Daniel turned and saw a woman beside Isabella's grave, holding white roses in trembling hands. She wore an expensive black coat, her face pale and eyes swollen with grief. When Daniel stepped forward and told her the space was private, she apologized in sign language, explaining she didn't know anyone would be visiting today. The girls froze in surprise that she knew their language. The woman slowly knelt by the grave, placing the roses down before introducing herself as Dr. Rachel Monroe. Daniel's entire body stiffened at the name, the cardiac surgeon who had operated on Isabella for 3 hours the night she died trying to save her life. When Daniel demanded to know why she was there, Rachel explained that she came every year on November 14th to apologize to Isabella, to him, and to the 3 girls whose lives she had helped save but whose mother she could not. Tears slipped down her face as she admitted she had held Isabella's heart in her hands and still couldn't stop it from failing. Sophie stepped closer and asked if she had tried to save their mommy, and Rachel nodded through her grief, saying she had tried everything. Later, inside a small nearby cafe, Daniel reluctantly agreed to let Rachel explain what had happened that night. Sitting by the window as the girls wrapped around her with quiet curiosity, Rachel described how Isabella had arrived at the hospital late at night already in labor, but with a dangerously failing heart. An emergency C-section had been the only option. Rachel explained how Isabella had grabbed her hand before surgery and made her promise to save the babies first. The girls listened in stunned silence as Rachel told them that their mother hadn't been afraid for herself, only for them. When Mia asked if Isabella had said anything else, Rachel hesitated before signing the message she had carried for 6 years. "Tell Daniel I love him. Tell my daughters I fought for them." Daniel put his head in his hands as years of guilt crashed down around him. For 6 years he had believed Isabella died, thinking he failed her, never knowing she had tried to comfort him even as she slipped away. Rachel confessed she had never delivered the message because she was too traumatized by the loss and had quit surgery 6 months later. That happening, Daniel invited Rachel to dinner, unsure why, but unable to let the moment end. Daniel's mother welcomed Rachel into their home without hesitation, reminding her that although her daughter-in-law had died, her 3 granddaughters had lived because of Rachel's efforts. The girls eagerly showed Rachel their mother's belongings, her perfume, a blanket she had sewn, and the book she used to read aloud while they were still in her womb. They weren't trying to make Rachel feel guilty. They simply wanted someone else to remember Isabella the way they did. Later, sitting together on the back porch beneath a dark November sky, Daniel asked why Rachel had really quit surgery. She admitted that every time she picked up a scalpel afterward, she saw Isabella's face and heard her last words. However, Rachel had not stopped trying to make a difference. After inheriting her family's pharmaceutical company, she had funded medical research into pregnancy-related heart complications for the past 4 years. New screening protocols and emergency response programs developed through her funding had already saved an estimated 312 mothers. Daniel was stunned to realize that out of her grief, Rachel had found a way to protect hundreds of families from experiencing the same loss. Weeks turned into months, and Rachel gradually became part of their lives. Thursday dinners, Saturday breakfasts, Sunday museum trips. Within weeks, she had a toothbrush in their bathroom, and within months, she had a drawer in the guest room. The girls grew attached to her kindness and patience, and Daniel found himself watching her laugh with him in a way he hadn't seen in years. Eventually, the quiet friendship between Daniel and Rachel deepened into something neither of them expected. One evening, Daniel finally admitted he was falling in love with her. Rachel tried to protest, insisting she had been his wife's surgeon and had failed her. But Daniel reminded her that she had saved his daughters and that no one had been able to save Isabella. When they told the girls they were dating, Mia immediately signed that they already knew, pointing out how they held hands when they thought no one was watching. Sophie asked if Rachel would stay or leave, like the other nannies, and Rachel knelt down and promised she would never replace their first mother but would gladly become someone else who loved them. Elena smiled and called her their bonus mom, and Rachel nodded through tears. Over time, their relationship grew stronger, and after nearly a year, Daniel proposed to Rachel beside Isabella's grave, with the girl standing beside them holding a sign asking if she would marry their dad. Rachel said yes, through tears, thanking Isabella's memory for the family she had found. They married 6 months later in the same hospital chapel where Isabella had died and where the girls had been born. Their vows were spoken entirely in sign language, promising to honor Isabella's memory and to love the children they were raising together. 2 years into their marriage, Rachel discovered she was pregnant. Fear and hope battled within her, but Daniel assured her they would face whatever came together. With careful monitoring, she eventually gave birth to a healthy baby boy named Oliver. The triplets adored their younger brother, teaching him sign language from infancy until his first signs became more than milk, and eventually sister. Years later, the family stood together once again at Isabella's grave, now 6 of them, remembering the woman whose sacrifice had saved 4 lives and inspired Rachel's foundation, which had gone on to save over 1,000 mothers. The triplets signed their annual messages of gratitude, thanking their first mother for giving them life, their father for strength, and Rachel for becoming the love that helped heal them. Oliver added his own small thanks for his sisters. As they walked away, Mia turned back one last time and signed softly that they were happy now, just as Isabella would have wanted. And they were not perfect, and not without scars, but a family rebuilt from grief and hope, held together by love that had found its way back after loss.